Hello, friends. What if I told you that your brain doesn't care if something is real or imagined? That the person you believe you are, shy, unlucky, not good enough, is nothing more than a mental program you can rewrite? In this summary, you will learn the ways to unlock that inner programming. The result? A more confident, focused, and successful you. No fluff, just deeply practical, mind-altering insights from the life-changing book Psycho-Cybernetics. Now, if this summary sparks even one light bulb moment for you, let's make a deal. Hit that like button to lock in your mind, and subscribe not just to follow this channel, but to follow through on becoming the best version of yourself. Chapter 1. The Self-Image, Your Key to a Better Life. Dr. Maxwell Maltz, a plastic surgeon by profession, discovered an intriguing truth. Altering a person's physical appearance sometimes led to a complete transformation in personality, but other times the psychological scars remained even when the physical ones were healed. Some patients who received what they considered a perfect face continued to feel unattractive and unworthy. This led Maltz to realize that the real issue was not the external face, but the internal self-image, the mental blueprint a person carries of who they are and what they are capable of. The core premise of the chapter is that you act and feel not according to what things are really like, but according to the image your mind holds of them, especially the image you hold of yourself. This mental image, stored deep in your subconscious, shapes your behavior, limits your potential, and dictates your success or failure. If you see yourself as a failure, unworthy, or incapable, your behavior will align with that perception, regardless of your actual talents or circumstances. Conversely, improve your self-image, and your life transforms accordingly. This concept forms the foundation of Psycho-Cybernetics, which likens the human brain to a goal-seeking machine or servo mechanism that aligns actions with internal beliefs. A powerful example Maltz shares is about a man with a facial scar who believed it ruined his life. Yet, after the scar was removed through surgery, he still felt miserable. The reason? His internal belief hadn't changed. He still believed was unattractive and unlovable. On the other hand, some individuals experience dramatic improvements in confidence and social success without any physical change, simply because their self-perception was altered. This observation led to a revolutionary idea. Change the self-image and the outer life follows. Key takeaways. Your self-image is the blueprint for your personality and achievements. Change it, and you change your life. Real transformation starts within. External makeover will help unless you also reshape your internal beliefs about yourself. Chapter 2. Discovering the success mechanism within you. Maltz introduces the concept of the servo mechanism, comparing the human brain to a goal-striving device similar to guided missiles. These mechanisms operate on feedback, positive when on course and corrective when off course. The same applies to humans. We have an inbuilt success mechanism that automatically drives us toward the goals we envision, provided those goals are clear and emotionally charged. This internal system doesn't distinguish between real or imagined experience. It responds to what the mind believes to be true. Real-world examples include how an athlete visualizes scoring a goal or how a pianist imagines performing flawlessly. In both cases, the nervous system starts to align with those images, adjusting behavior and performance accordingly. Maltz explains that even daily actions like picking up a pen involve this system at work, correcting and adjusting moment to moment without conscious thinking. He emphasizes that failure results when this same mechanism is fed with negative or confusing input. The takeaway: your mind is already equipped for success. Your job is to feed it the right instructions. Key takeaways: your brain functions as a success-seeking machine. Your job is to set a clear, emotional goal. Whether you input success or failure depends on the pictures and beliefs you allow your mind to accept. Chapter 3. Imagination. The first key to your success mechanism. This chapter reveals a critical discovery. Your nervous system cannot distinguish between a real experience and one vividly imagined. That means your subconscious reacts to imagined scenarios just as powerfully as it does to actual ones. This insight shifts the power balance dramatically. It's not external reality that shapes you most, but the internal images you repeatedly focus on. If you imagine yourself failing, unworthy, or fearful, your automatic success mechanism will accept that as truth and act accordingly. But if you vividly imagine yourself confident, capable, and already succeeding, your inner mechanism begins working in alignment with those images. The key lies in deliberately using imagination, not for daydreaming or worry, which many unknowingly do, but as a conscious tool to create new emotional patterns and behavioral habits. One story shared is of a salesperson who continually imagined failure, and no matter how much effort he put into improving his strategy, he struggled. Only when he began vividly imagining himself succeeding, feeling it, hearing the words, seeing the deals close, did his outer performance start to change. His results transformed not through willpower, but through reprogrammed imagination. The same principle was found true in athletes, public speakers, and even trauma survivors. When someone mentally rehearses a positive outcome repeatedly, the body and nervous system start adapting toward that version of reality. This chapter urges readers to stop using imagination destructively through worry, fear, or regret, and instead to enter the theater of the mind. This is a powerful mental practice where one creates vivid, emotionally charged scenes of success, happiness, or desired change. It's not about fantasizing, but experiencing the scene so fully that it plants new instruction into your subconscious. Just as professional athletes mentally rehearse their routines before competition, you too can recondition your inner world for any goal, be it confidence, public speaking, sales performance, or even healing from emotional wounds. The imagination is not a child's toy. It is a force that reprograms the very core of your being. Key takeaways. Your subconscious mind accepts vividly imagined experiences as real. Use this to your advantage by feeding it images of the person you want to become, not fears, failures, or regrets. Theater of the mind is your training ground. Practice imagining your goals as already achieved. See it, feel it, hear it, and your success mechanism will begin moving you toward them automatically. Chapter 4. Dehypnotize yourself from false beliefs. This chapter introduces a radical and empowering idea. Much of human suffering and limitation is due to self-hypnosis. Not the kind practiced by a stage performer, but the kind people perform on themselves through repeated negative suggestion. From childhood experiences, failures, criticisms, or societal messages, people internalize harmful beliefs about who they are and what they can or cannot do. These false beliefs act like invisible chains, keeping individuals stuck in roles they never consciously chose. Roles like I'm shy, I'm unlucky, I'm not good with people, or I always fail. The author highlights that people are not born with these self-defeating identities. They're learned and reinforced through repetition and emotion. A child who is told they are clumsy begins to believe it and then lives up to that label, even into adulthood. It's the same mechanism through which a person can be hypnotized to act a certain way on stage. Except in real life, it's not for entertainment. It's real suffering. The liberating truth, however, is this. If you can hypnotize yourself into limitation, you can also hypnotize yourself into freedom. The process begins by recognizing these internalized false beliefs for what they are, lies that were accepted as truth. Once awareness dawns, it becomes possible to challenge them using reason, imagination, and experience. A striking case is shared of a salesman who had failed so often he believed he was jinxed. Once he replaced that belief by vividly imagining success, acting as if he were competent, and drawing strength from small wins, his results turn around. Another key insight is that failure experiences don't define identity. Failing at something does not mean you are a failure. It means only that a specific attempt didn't succeed. The chapter urges readers to stop identifying with negative memories and old labels. Just like a hypnotized person can be brought back to normal awareness, so can a person wake up from false self-perceptions. Key takeaways. You've been hypnotized by false beliefs about yourself, but you can dehypnotize yourself. Your identity is not fixed. It was programmed, and you have the power to reprogram it. Failure is an event, not a person. Don't mistake repeated setbacks for proof that you're incapable. You can shed old labels and build a new reality starting now. Chapter 5. How to utilize the power of rational thinking. In this transformational chapter, the focus shifts from imagination to logic, showing how reason can become a healing tool. Many people unknowingly accept irrational and false beliefs about themselves and their abilities. These false beliefs then get stored in the subconscious and acted upon as if they were facts. The chapter emphasizes that you don't have to accept everything your subconscious offers you. You have the capacity to question, examine, and correct faulty beliefs with reasoned thought. The core message here is that your automatic success mechanism works on data, but you are the one supplying the data. If you constantly feed it memories of past failures, critical voices from childhood, or unjustified fears, it will treat them as gospel. But if you pause to ask, is this belief rational? Is it based on fact or just feeling? You begin to break the spell. The chapter introduces the idea that you are not your mistakes, and your past doesn't define your future unless you let it. Rational thinking allows you to disidentify from the painful stories you've been telling yourself. A vivid example is shared of a man who had internalized the belief that he was socially awkward because of one humiliating experience at a party in his youth. That one moment, accepted without analysis, became a fixed identity. Only when he was challenged to re-examine that incident and view it through adult logic did he realize it had been a misunderstanding. Once that false foundation was pulled out, his confidence began to grow. The same technique can be used in any area of life by identifying the root beliefs that hold you back and shining the light of reason on them. The chapter draws from the field of cognitive science before it was even formalized. It encourages emotional re-education, where irrational beliefs are gradually replaced with rational ones. This is not about blind positivity, but about objective thinking. Feelings aren't facts. You may feel like a failure, but that doesn't make you one. You may feel unattractive, but that doesn't mean you are. Feelings are often echoes of past impressions, not reflections of truth. The ability to think rationally, to dispute lies within, is one of the greatest tools for changing the self-image and unlocking your potential. Key takeaways. Feelings are not facts. Just because you feel unworthy or incapable doesn't mean it's true. Question the belief, and you often find it's built on a false memory or an old emotional wound. Use rational thought to re-educate your subconscious. The moment you challenge a false belief and replace it with truth, you begin reshaping your reality. Chapter 6. Relax and let your success mechanism work for you. This chapter teaches a counterintuitive but deeply liberating truth. The more you try hard to be successful, confident, or calm, the more likely you are to fail. That's because success, creativity, and optimal performance do not come from conscious over-control, but from trusting your internal guidance system. Just like a golfer who swings fluidly when relaxed, or an artist who enters a state of flow while painting, your best self emerges when you stop micromanaging every move and instead let go. The success mechanism within you doesn't need force. It needs clarity, confidence, and space. The human nervous system is designed to work best when you're not tense or overly anxious. Whether it's hitting a tennis serve or giving a presentation, excessive self-consciousness blocks your natural rhythm. To counter this, the chapter introduces relaxation as a success strategy. This is not laziness, but a deliberate calming of the mind and body so that the automatic creative mechanism can take over. Great inventors, athletes, and performers have all used this principle. They think clearly about the goal, feed the subconscious with the desired outcome, and then get out of the way. A compelling example is the story of a salesperson who used to obsessively rehearse his pitch and get nervous before meetings. But when he learned to prepare calmly, trust his instinct, and let his responses come naturally, his sales skyrocketed. Similarly, Creative geniuses like Edison and Einstein often reported that their best ideas came not during hard thinking sessions, but in moments of ease, like shaving, walking, or lying in bed. These weren't coincidences. They were moments when the conscious mind relaxed enough to allow the deeper mind to surface. Key takeaways. Strain sabotages success. Your internal guidance system functions best in a calm, relaxed mental state. Stop overthinking and start trusting. Visualize the outcome, then let go. See the goal is already achieved and allow your creative mechanism to navigate the way without interference. Chapter 7. You can acquire the habit of happiness. The central message of this chapter is life-changing. Happiness is not a reward for achievement. It is a way of thinking, an internal habit that can be cultivated. Most people make the tragic mistake of postponing happiness. They tie it to future events. I'll be happy when I get the promotion. I'll be happy when I lose 10 pounds or when I meet the right partner. But this mindset keeps happiness always out of reach. Instead, this chapter teaches that happiness is a present moment skill, one that grows stronger with conscious, repeated use. The author defines happiness as a mental attitude, a successful state of mind, which result from the acceptance of yourself, your life, and the world. It's not based on external conditions, but on inner agreement. People often confuse happiness with excitement, pleasure, or material gain, but real happiness is deeper. It's calm, steady, and rooted in peace of mind. Interestingly, people who decide be happy tend to perform better, recover faster, and connect more easily with others. This chapter draws a powerful link between happiness and functionality. A person operating from a happy mental state uses their success mechanism more effectively. They are more creative, relaxed, and purposeful. An illuminating example is given of people who, even in prison or with severe physical disabilities, choose to be happy and hopeful. Conversely, some of the wealthiest and most physically healthy individuals are deeply unhappy. The conclusion is clear. Circumstances do not create happiness. Your response to circumstances does. The chapter encourages readers to stop asking, "What will make me happy?" and start asking, "What is preventing me from choosing happiness now?" It explains that happiness, like any skill, must be practiced deliberately by focusing on gratitude, shifting attention away from complaints, and forming a daily habit of cheerfulness. One method the book suggests is to begin each day by mentally rehearsing a happy day, imagining good outcomes, joyful interactions, and small successes. By doing so, you set the tone and prime your internal system to seek and create those experiences. Over time, this becomes a default pattern. Happiness stops being dependent on what happens to you and becomes something you bring to each situation. Sparkle's key takeaways. Happiness is a mental habit, not a result. Don't wait for external events to give you permission to be happy. You can choose happiness today. A cheerful attitude activates your success mechanism. When you feel happy, relaxed, and grateful, your performance improves and life aligns more effortlessly. Chapter 8. Ingredients of the success-type personality and how to acquire them. This chapter presents a vivid blueprint of the kind of person who tends to succeed, not through luck or external circumstances, but through inner qualities that can be learned and practiced. Contrary to popular belief, this success personality isn't born, it's built. And it's built on 7 core traits that anyone can develop through deliberate mental rehearsal and habit formation. These include a sense of direction, understanding, courage, charity, esteem, self-confidence, and self-acceptance. Each trait contributes to a strong, functional self-image, which then activates the success mechanism. The first ingredient, a sense of direction, means having clear goals, both big and small, that guide your actions. Without direction, the mind becomes confused, and confusion leads to frustration. The second trait, understanding, is about realizing that people act based on their internal programming, not necessarily logic. This leads to greater empathy and less personal conflict. Courage, the third trait, is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite fear. The chapter explains that inaction fuels fear, while action drains it. Many people wait to feel confident before acting, but action itself is what creates confidence. Charity in this context means goodwill, choosing to believe the best about others. When you approach life with kindness and emotional generosity, you reduce tension and allow your inner mechanism to work freely. Esteem and self-confidence are built by recalling past successes, affirming your worth, and refusing to let mistakes define you. The final ingredient, self-acceptance, is foundational. It means refusing to fight yourself. Many people live in constant inner war, judging themselves harshly, regretting the past, or trying to be someone else. But this self-rejection jams the success mechanism. Accepting yourself fully and honestly frees up emotional energy and provides the stability needed for lasting growth. Key takeaways. Chapter 8. You can build this success personality by cultivating specific traits. Traits like a sense of direction, understanding, courage, goodwill, self-confidence, self-acceptance, and esteem are not inherited. They're practiced and developed over time. By consciously reinforcing these qualities in your daily life, especially through mental rehearsal and visualization, you reshape your self-image and unlock your potential. Self-acceptance is the foundation of lasting change. You don't need to fix everything about yourself before you're allowed to feel worthy. In fact, accepting yourself as you are right now is what gives you the emotional freedom to grow, improve, and succeed. Self-judgment paralyzes the success mechanism, but self-acceptance activates it. Chapter 9. The Failure Mechanism. How make it work for you instead of against you. This chapter tackles a painful but essential truth. Most people are stuck not because they've failed, but because they fear failure or have misunderstood what failure actually is. The book explains that failure is not a person. It's simply feedback. Much like a guided missile course corrects using errors, humans too are meant to adjust and improve through mistakes. The only time failure becomes destructive is when it's misinterpreted as identity. The failure mechanism, when left unchecked, feeds on frustration, hostility, self-condemnation, resentment, and excessive guilt. These emotions cloud judgment, drain energy, and send the internal guidance system into chaos. But the big insight here is that the same mechanisms that produce success can also be misused to create failure. The brain doesn't judge, it follows orders. When it's given destructive data, like "I always mess up" or "I'll never get it right," it simply processes and performs based on that programming. This leads to self-fulfilling prophecies of defeat. However, once a person becomes aware of these patterns and replaces them with constructive thoughts and behavior, they begin to rewire their inner machine. That's how the failure mechanism can actually become a tool for success. One striking example from a book is about individuals who repeated the same career or relationship mistakes for years. They believed they were doomed to fail until they recognized that they had been programming their mechanism with fear and anger. Once they started seeing failure as feedback instead of fate, their lives began to turn around. The chapter emphasizes that mistakes are stepping stones, a normal part of the success journey. Just like learning to walk involves falling, achieving any meaningful goal requires failed attempts. The important thing is not to avoid failure, but to fail creatively, recover quickly, and adjust intelligently. The author introduces a mental hygiene approach, cleaning out the toxic emotions and self-condemnation that often follow mistakes. This involves choosing forgiveness over guilt, responsibility over blame, and learning over regret. When you forgive yourself, you don't condone failure. You free yourself to try again without carrying the emotional weight of the past. You become more resilient, confident, and responsive. Key takeaways. Failure is not a dead end. It's information. Treat mistakes as feedback, not personal judgment. Your internal mechanism learns through trial and error. Guilt, resentment, and self-punishment jam your success system. Replace them with forgiveness, correction, and focused action to turn setbacks into growth. Chapter 10. how to remove emotional scars, or how to give yourself an emotional facelift. This chapter dives into one of the most healing ideas in the entire book. Many of us carry invisible wounds, emotional scars, that distort how we see ourselves and others. Just like physical scars, these emotional injuries are often the result of painful experiences: rejection, humiliation, trauma, or failure. But unlike physical wounds, these mental scars don't heal with time alone. They stay lodged in the self-image and continue to shape behavior, often without our awareness. The problem with emotional scars is not only that they hurt, but that they create protective shells. People who've been hurt often build emotional armor, becoming cynical, hostile, defensive, or withdrawn. The subconscious logic is, if I never let anyone get close, they can't hurt me. But this also shuts down love, joy, creativity, and growth. You can't selectively numb pain without also numbing life. These emotional shields may feel like survival tools, but they come at a massive cost: chronic anxiety, disconnection, and a distorted self-image. The good news is that emotional scars can be removed, not by reliving the pain, but by consciously changing the meaning you give to past events. This chapter teaches that forgiveness, not just of others, but of yourself, is the key. You don't change the past, but you can change its emotional hold on you. One method is visualization, revisiting past painful experiences and reimagining them with new understanding and compassion. Another is mental rehearsal, practicing how you would now respond in a healthier, more empowered way. The author compares emotional healing to plastic surgery. Just as people receive a new face and transform how they engage with the world, you can give yourself a new emotional face, one that's free from shame, fear, and defensiveness. This emotional facelift isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about releasing the false conclusions you drew in the heat of hurt. I'm unlovable, I'm not good enough, or I'll never trust anyone again. Once these old narratives are dissolved, your authentic self reemerges, whole, open, and capable of thriving. Key takeaways: emotional scars distort perception and block growth. Protecting yourself by withdrawing or hardening your heart might keep pain out, but it also keeps life out. You can remove emotional scars by forgiving, reinterpreting, and reimagining past wounds. This frees your self-image and allows you to live fully and openly again. Chapter 11: How to Unlock Your Real Personality. This chapter addresses a common but silent struggle. Many people go through life acting out roles they've been taught or forced into, rather than expressing their authentic selves. Social conditioning, fear of judgment, and early criticism often cause individuals to develop a mask, a defensive, inauthentic personality that hides who they really are. Over time, the real self is buried under layers of fear, self-doubt, and overcompensation. The central message is liberating. You don't have to create a better personality. You only need to stop suppressing your real one. That your true personality is already inside you, equipped with warmth, creativity, spontaneity, and confidence. The key to unlocking it lies in self-trust. Many people try to be interesting or impressive and end up anxious. But when you relax and stop trying to perform, your natural self emerges, and that's when people are drawn to you. The chapter encourages you to stop watching yourself and start by enjoying yourself. Practice spontaneity. Speak without rehearsing every word in your mind. Trust your instincts. That's how charisma is born, not through effort, but through presence. Key takeaways: your real personality is already within you. Stop hiding it. Trying to impress or protect yourself blocks authenticity and joy. Spontaneity is confidence in action. Let go of the fear of how you appear and let your natural self come forward. Chapter 12: Do-it-yourself tranquilizers that bring peace of mind. This chapter introduces powerful tools to quiet inner tension, anxiety, and emotional turmoil. Instead of relying on external tranquilizers like alcohol, drugs, or constant stimulation, it teaches how to activate the body's own peace-inducing responses. The key idea is that peace of mind is not the absence of problems, but the presence of inner stillness. You can train your nervous system to enter a relaxed, alert state by practicing mental techniques like quiet reflection, deep breathing, visualization, and gratitude. The success mechanism operates best in a calm, focused mind, not in chaos. You're also encouraged to stop dwelling on what ifs and begin trusting your ability to respond to whatever comes. Just like the body repairs itself in sleep, the mind solves problems best when it is rested and unpressured. Key takeaways. Inner peace is trainable. Use daily stillness, breathing, and visualization to center your mind and activate your success mechanism. You don't need to eliminate problems, just shift how you meet them. Calm, not control, is the foundation of real confidence. Chapter 13. How to turn a crisis into a creative opportunity. In this chapter, crises are reframed not as threats, but as triggers for transformation. The truth is, crisis moments push us out of autopilot and force creative growth. Many people discover their strength, talent, or breakthrough only because they were thrown into uncomfortable situations. The danger is in responding to crisis with panic, paralysis, or victimhood. Instead, you're taught to pause, calm your inner system, and ask a simple question: what is this experience trying to teach or reveal? Your brain is a problem-solving device. When faced with a crisis, it ramps up attention and energy. If you harness that power instead of resisting it, you can unlock incredible creativity. Historical examples and patient stories reveal that moments of loss, failure, or even illness often catalyze new business ideas, deeper relationships, and powerful self-discovery. Crisis breaks the old pattern and opens the door to a new self-image, if you're willing to walk through it. Key takeaways. Every crisis contains an opportunity for rebirth. View setbacks as signals to grow, not evidence of defeat. Let discomfort wake up your creative mechanism. Stay calm, ask questions, and allow new paths to reveal themselves. Chapter 14. How to get that winning feeling. This chapter uncovers a powerful truth. Emotion drives action, that if you want to win consistently, in business, relationships, or personal goals, you must first feel like a winner. And the good news? That feeling can be generated deliberately. By mentally rehearsing success and tying it to vivid, positive emotion, you begin to condition your mind and nervous system to expect good outcomes. This winning feeling becomes a powerful cue for your success mechanism to engage. Just like athletes visualize standing on the podium before the race, you can simulate future victories by seeing, hearing, and feeling the success before it happens. The chapter warns against the opposite trap: habitually rehearsing failure. If you constantly anticipate rejection, mistakes, or humiliation, you're unknowingly training your mind to produce those outcomes. Key takeaways. You must feel like a winner to become one. Emotionally rehearse success. Make it vivid, joyful, and real in your mind. Mental rehearsal is not fantasy, it's preparation. Train your nervous system to expect good results, and your behavior will align. Chapter 15. More years of life, and more life in your years. The final chapter makes a profound connection between self-image, joy, and longevity. That a strong sense of purpose, hope, and identity doesn't just enrich your life, it can extend it. Studies show that people with optimism, emotional resilience, and future-oriented goals tend to live longer and stay mentally sharp. The body and mind are deeply connected. People who believe they're getting old or slowing down often fulfill that prophecy, not because of biology, but because of expectation. On the other hand, those who remain mentally active, engaged, and excited about the future continue to grow well into old age. You're encouraged to view life as an unfolding opportunity, not a slow decline. Continue setting goals. Stay curious. Embrace new experiences. This attitude fuels your success mechanism and activates vitality at every stage of life. Key takeaways. The quality of your self-image affects the length and vitality of your life. See yourself as alive, evolving, and relevant at every age. Keep setting goals and staying engaged at a hopeful, purposeful mindset adds both years to your life. If you stayed with me till the end, thank you. It says something powerful about you. You're not just curious, you're committed to growth. That's rare. I hope this summary of Psycho-Cybernetics sparks something inside you. A new belief, a fresh perspective, or even just a little more peace. If it did, here's a simple way to reinforce it. Hit that like button. Think of it as anchoring this message in your mind. Thank you so much.